friends, this week we're going to do a cool upcycled project. Not a lot of painting involved in this one, but we're going to be using some transfers and just show you the process of making this suitcase and luggage rack into a little desk. So I opened it up and I had a really cool surprise inside. There was a mini baby suitcase in there, a little cosmetic case, and it even had keys. So that was a bonus. So I got started, and the first thing I did was lift the corners of the lining up and used screws to attach the suitcase to the frame of the luggage rack. And I then clamped down it with glue to reconnect that lining to the side of the suitcase. So it was really easy to do both of those things. And then when that was dry, I did give everything a really good cleaning with white lightning. How about the color of this suitcase? Isn't it glorious? So I didn't have to do any painting, but instead some embellishing. I used a silkscreen stencil in roses from Dixie Belle, and I used metallic Moonshine Metallics paint in Gold Digger. And these stencils are different if you've never used them. Most stencils you want to offload most of the paint. With these ones, you kind of have to use a good amount of paint and work it into the screen of the stencil. I will tell you, I didn't get the most crisp designs that I've ever accomplished with these stencils. I think that the Moonshine Metallics paint is a lot thinner than typical chalk paint or even the Silk all-in-one mineral paint. So once again, I would say maybe use a little bit less and work it in a little bit more. Maybe even using, instead of a brush, the thingamajig, which is an applicator or a plastic applicator or a credit card or something like that. So I just didn't get the most crisp images that I ever accomplished with these stencils, but I still feel like I had some good results. And you know what I always say, there's no accidents. You just keep moving forward with your design and make it part of your design. And we have the lift off, and voila, not too bad. I continue after I do a few more of those to add some transfers. The first one was a vintage floral transfer, and now I'm going with floral romance. These are both Dixie Belle transfers. This one is a 4-part, so I'm going to have to do some cutting to get some roses that'll work. And I'm just mixing and matching the different ones. I even used some leftover ones. I think they were Primo ones. So I'm going to give you a tip when working on this type of surface. Now remember, our suitcase did not require any painting except for what I did with the stencils. It was such a beautiful, brilliant color, but the suitcase has a grainy surface, so I don't want to scratch that up when I'm applying the transfer around these edges. So that's why I'm using a piece of the transfer backing and kind of using it as my piece that I do most of the rubbing on, because I just don't want, as I said, just to scratch up either the other transfers or the surface of the suitcase. I continue to cut out transfers, and I'm working in the corner this time, and I'm just strategically cutting around flowers, and I also try to piece out the corner because it's a curved corner on the suitcase, and I'll be sort of reshaping a flower too kind of cut in the middle of one, and then I'll be cutting a portion of another one around petals to make it make sense. So sort of layering it to create a new flower. See how it formed a new flower? So I continue to work in that corner, and once I get this piece down, I kind of take my X-Acto knife and just kind of cut the excess off there and use my fingernail to just get the excess transfer material off there because I don't want it there. And now I am reshaping a leaf. So it's a little bigger than I wanted it for my space. So I'm just taking and cutting in those little jagged edges like on the bottom. So I'm just going with every vein and just cutting in and then cutting up to the next one just to make a new jagged edge, just like a leaf shape would be. So just, try to think outside the box when you're using your transfers and make them work for you instead of the design that someone else drew. You can redesign it. So again, I'm working with various kinds of transfers. It's obvious that some of the leaves are different sizes, different colors, and I think that's part of the charm of this piece is just the different techniques. So this time I was smart enough to cut a curve into the corner. You live and learn, right? So after being a little torn, my original idea was to put transfers on the base as well. But I decided to echo that Moonshine Metallics and Gold Digger and paint the base in that. I've kind of been obsessed with that lately and done a few projects. And there's another project in the background, if you can see, an antique bar. I guess that's what it is. It's a buffet top that I'll be restoring. So I turned my attention to the inside. So there's a few little stains on the inside of this case, although it's really in great shape. I am using a stamp, and I believe this is an IOD stamp. So I'm just using black chalk paint and caviar, and I just kind of, the first one I got a little bit more than I wanted on there. See the extra edges? But again, no mistakes. I carry on. And I camouflage those little extra ink spots, and you don't see them when I'm done. So I remember to wipe those edges going forward, and I just kind of overlap my design and do some more stamping. See, we covered that right up. Now it looks intentional. This is the smaller case. There seemed to be a little more stains in this one, probably from having makeup use. And they weren't really stains, just kind of discolorations, and just you can see above the mirror there. So it just looked like a little something was spilled there in the past. But overall, I have no problem redoing this to gift. I think it's really in remarkable shape for how old it is. Now I'm using another stamp, and I think this one was called Kindest Regards, and again I'm pretty sure this was an IOD, and I'm just using a section of it, just kind of I don't want it to look like a block or squared off, so I'm putting it with the handle closest to me, but again I make a mistake. I put it down and I wasn't thinking, but it was upside down. So, again, no accidents. I'm just gonna do some more stamping around it and camouflage that fact, and no one will be the wiser. So how did this project turn out? Check out the results coming up next. Thank you so much for watching today. If you like this video, how about giving it a thumbs up and also share it with your friends? If you haven't subscribed, you'll want to do that so you don't miss anything. Visit us at LaVintageDecor.company, and on Instagram we're LaVintageDecor, and on Facebook we're LaVintageDecor Altoona. Stay well.